Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review and reaction to AGT All-Stars
Yep.
episode 4. We're really excited to get into this one because this was just a really good episode. It's just like it's hard to not come out of this feeling at least mostly happy with what we got.
Power duo. Power
Power
duo.
duo. Okay.
Oh, the super fans got it right this time. It's the first time all season they got it right. Those two were 10 out of 10. I absolutely love them. If they didn't go through, this would be a very different video. They absolutely deserved it. They were incredible. We had Sacred Riana. She's so good every single time I've seen her on this show. She's just amazing. Like, this was really packed with a lot of talent.
Heidi, did you get it right? Did you make a mistake? You
Oh
made a
no.
mistake. No, but okay,
Oh
well,
no.
we'll get into, of course, that and a whole lot more. But before we do, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, pretend it's the golden buzzer, and you're just giving us the golden buzzer, and you're sticking around for the rest of our AGT All-Stars coverage.
Absolutely. If you've been enjoying our coverage or you love the Power Duo, because they're going to be coming back,
Yes.
hit that subscribe button because we will be talking about them and everyone else that's been going through on the show. And also follow us over on our Instagram, which is Matt and Jess TV. Okay, let's talk about the Power Duo. I can't wait
No.
until the middle of the video to talk about
No.
them.
Okay.
They're amazing. They really, really, truly are. I love their story, but outside of the story, they are just so talented. I mean, they're doing flips and they're dancing and there's a story and they're in the air. I mean, this act has everything I could possibly want. It's just, normally I'm not into dance acts at all, but they mix so many different like genres of act into their act and it just flowed so beautifully. And their love story, oh, wow, they're so cute.
I was in on them before they even started performing, and like I'm not gonna pretend like I was as familiar with them coming in as some other acts that had been on America's Got Talent a lot in the past, but just the cojones on them to admit their feelings on television with like that takes a lot. Like, I don't know, that's very nerve-wracking to me. That's terrible. But like that was just like, oh, if you don't believe in true love and you watch that video, it will change your mind. I was just like, oh, this is adorable. I love them. Then they started performing and I loved them more. They were in the air, they were on the ground. Like, they're really, really athletic to be able to pull off some of that and make it look artistic.
This is me wagging my finger at Howie. Listen, lots of acts have little missteps here or there. We don't need you calling it out because we've seen this on the show before
Yeah.
where one of the judges has called out something or, a mistake or, they don't like something. And then that act is just derailed, everything they did. And you've got like the tiniest little thing of missing a rope for a second and it took nothing from the performance because like I didn't
Yeah.
even notice it until
No.
Howie was like, oh, was there a little mistake? That get out of here. It didn't matter at all, and thank goodness the super fans didn't care about that either
Yeah.
because they put them through. Because the real sort of tell of a good showman like Power Duo is that a mistake like that can happen and it just goes by. And they even said, the show must go on. Yes, it must go on. And you guys just continued on seamlessly like you guys are watching this video.
Yeah.
I love you
Hi,
guys.
Power Duo. No, okay. Is this where I revisit the discussion that this show doesn't need judges? Because I think
It's
this
time.
is
Let's
okay.
do it.
Okay, because this is the thing: is that Heidi has the golden buzzer, and I know that matters, but the judges don't actually have any input. It's like it's the super fans who decide what happens at the end of the episode. So it is just like, to a certain extent, the super fans clearly aren't listening to them, and thank goodness. So it's like, why are you guys there? Why do I need you guys to tell me what you think is good or what you think is not? Because I really, no disrespect to Simon or Heidi or Howie, I think they're fine on the regular show. It's just like, we already know these people are good. They're all stars for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does influence what people are going to vote with if they're like, oh, I'm a big fan of Howie, a big fan of Simon, like let's talk about those cellists that did the song, from Aha, and
Yeah.
they were so good. Like I didn't expect to love them as much as I did with sort of their electric cellos. Like, I had never seen anything like them before. They were really electric on stage. And then Simon, for whatever reason, just doesn't like these guys.
No.
He's just pulling them apart to be like, why are you here? Oh man, I really want to be here. I'm so excited to be here. This is my dream. No, what else have you got? That's what everybody says. They say exactly this. Oh, well, what are you going to do if this doesn't work out? I'm going to go back to my regular job like everybody else on the show if it doesn't work out. Oh, I'm going to go back and be a dentist. Ah, dentist, give me something more interesting. Just stop. Just stop. Like, when you're on stage, there's plenty of artists that on stage are just electric. And then you get them off stage, and it's like you're talking to them, or
Yeah.
interviews. Like, I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with FaZe Banks. He's a YouTuber. You watch his YouTube videos, and you're like, oh man, this guy's like this and that, and get all electric
Yeah.
and so fun to watch. And then you see him in an interview, and he's just really laid back. He's just like, a real chill guy. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm great. Whatever. It's just like, it's not the same person. And you're not paying to go see these two cellists sit there and talk about their lives. That's not what's happening. You're paying to watch them on stage. And this is where my issue with the show is they rely too heavily on storytelling. And I'm not saying that it's not great. Like I was just saying with Power Duo, I love their story. It's a great story. But they're going to take my money because I want to see them perform. I don't need to pay them to hear about their love story. I want to pay them because I want to see them perform. And it's the same with any act on this show.
Yeah, the whole situation that went on with Simon and his questioning, that part was totally ridiculous. The other part of it is it felt like to me he was running through in his head. It's like, okay, can an act like this ever be successful? No, okay, then I'm just going to diminish them. Where it's also like, Lindsey Sterling is like one of the most successful acts who has come out of this franchise, and she is an electric violinist. It's not that different from what these guys are doing. I hope they become really successful, and then they do a dental tutorial video, and they get like 2 million views out of that too, just to laugh in your face, Simon.
Okay, let's talk about Sacred Riana.
Yes.
Because we have seen her on the show before. She was amazing then. She's amazing now. The showmanship that she has is like out of this world. It's some of the best I've ever seen on this show. And every single time, it feels like the judges just don't like this type of act. And I mean, in general, there's an appetite for horror genre acts or TV shows. I mean, we just watched The Last of Us last night. We have a review up here at the channel if you want to check that out and you're watching it too. That show gave me some nightmares last night, and I'm sure a lot of other people as well, but it is wildly successful for just 2 episodes, and people are watching. There is an appetite for this, and there is an appetite for her as well. I mean, her performance was online before the show tonight. It's like 3.4 million views. Like, people want to see her because her performance is flawless.
Like, she is very slick. She's very original. Like, that is the biggest thing I've always really liked about her. And the judges and the show, they play up the horror angle. And, and I get it. I understand it. It helps to set her apart. But I don't think she gets enough credit for, like, being an actual magician. And the delivery of the effects that she is putting out there it's like so intricate. Like, one thing can go wrong. And because she's doing this horror persona, if something goes wrong, it's impossible for her to cover it up. If you're like a comedic magician, you can just be like, oh, that meant to be there. Don't look at that, and just try to move on. But she can't really do that. She's obviously been very successful all over the world. And, I know she's done really well in Asia's Got Talent, but I've never felt like, I still don't even feel like AGT is the perfect venue for her, because it doesn't feel like they give her credit for what she really does. I would prefer, I want to see her somewhere where she can really like go to 11 with the horror and really do things that are crazy and over the top and like really be appreciated, as opposed to the judges just sort of like hamming up their reactions, as I feel like they do with her sometimes.
Yeah, she can take my money.
Yeah,
I'll go see her for sure. I imagine that being in that audience, I think it's possible that the feeling of the creepiness of the whole vibe of all of that is what's creeping everybody out, and people are not giving her the vote
yeah,
because they're live. But there are people that eat that up and would
yes,
absolutely go and see her. And where we've got Simon complaining about the two cellists, that there's, not enough whatever
yeah,
showmanship or whatever. She is all the way through showmanship, from like she's immediately in character when she shows up to just
yeah.
disappearing. And is she coming back? We don't know. No, she's not coming back. Come on.
I know. It's okay. Now that we're 11 minutes in, it's time to talk about the golden buzzer pick because
Oh,
it
okay.
it should have been Sacred Riana. Like she was, her and Power Duo were the two best acts of the night, and Aiden McCann, Kid Magician. I think he is very good as a kid magician. I think he has charisma. I
Hmm.
think he's fun.
He does.
He clearly enjoys what he's doing a lot, but this is sort of reflecting what, we had to say about Avery last week, the saxophonist, where I don't think, he's not there fully yet. Like he's going to get better and better, but I think him going through is a function of, in part his age. And, I get it. People like to see, kids succeeding, and he's clearly done a
Hmm.
lot, but as fun as his act was, and I do think it was fun, and I think there was a good payoff, I have seen variations on this particular like guessing game trick like 200 times and just like a lot of different forums. He made it creative with the colors. I give him credit for that. It's just like for me, I want to see more Sacred Rihanna. I want to see more horror. I want to see more originality. I don't know what he can do at this point in his sort of magic career that's going to push the envelope in the finale.
Yeah, there's a lot of magicians on this season, like a lot of
Yeah.
magicians, and they're all starting to kind of just fold in on each other. And that's why, for me, Sacred Rihanna should have been the person to go through, because she really is the standout magician if they're going to have a magician go through. Like her, you're right, she doesn't get enough credit for being a magician and having that wow, because people are too creeped
Yes.
out. And I mean, magic has that can have that kind of feel to it, of sort of the darker side of things. And that's why, I was kind of disappointed with the golden buzzer and it not actually being Sacred Rihanna.
I mean, even my third favorite act of the night, Ndlovu Youth Choir, like I would have rather them made it through than Aiden, just because I've always really, really liked them. I think my only issue is just like I feel like their first batch of performances on AGT were just as good as what they did on All Stars, and that's not really like saying they were bad this time at all, because they weren't. Like their harmonies are just like really, really good, and I root for them. They're so easy to like. It's just that Sacred Rihanna was just on, I think, another level than a lot of the other acts. And like in my head, that is just ultimately who would I want to watch for just a lengthy period of time beyond just seeing them for 4 minutes on this show.
They were great. I mean, there's no denying that they have an incredible talent.
Yeah.
Like, it was quite the performance. That being said, I'm actually glad that they didn't go through, because so far, who we have going through are a lot of acrobats and
Yeah.
aerialists, and we have another choir already that's gone through. I don't need multiple choirs, multiple acrobats, multiple aerialists. It's got it. We have to have some other people on here. It just can't be the same acts over and over again.
Yeah, and I still stand by what I said a couple weeks ago, that I think Detroit the Youth Choir is winning the show. Like I still think that's probably going to be what happens. I'm not saying that's necessarily who I'm
Power
rooting for.
duo.
Power
Power
duo.
duo.
Yeah, I what the super fans want and what we want may not always be the same thing. I'm at the acceptance point of that.
Yeah, it's possible.
But if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. Check out more AGT All Stars coverage. We have a lot more on the way. We'll see you here next time.